What's the saddest movie you have ever watched? One that got me recently was The Iron Claw. The fact that it's based on a true story, and the story is so sad. And the film even cuts out one of the brothers and his awful story. The bit that really got me, though, was at the end, because I'd watched a documentary on YouTube about the Von Erichs, and the line Kevin says at the end of the film about how now he's no one's brother is something he actually says in the documentary. Fritz von Erich really did a number on those kids. In the words of Robert Evans, Fritz von Erich died of cancer in 1997, and good fucking riddance. The Red Violin, little-known movie, but deeply moving and sad. The movie follows the history of an antique red violin. It's heavily implied that different people who have come into contact with the violin are the reincarnation of the previous owner, people connected to the violin, all tied back to the original person who contributed to the red color. Don't want to give away that plot twist. Each person has their own tragic tale. It's about obsession, beauty, love, and letting go. There's this old Soviet movie called White Bim, Black Here. It's about a dog called Bim. It's considered a children's movie, and I swear, every child that has watched it is scarred for life. It's been 25 years since I watched it for the first and last time, and I still get choked up. I'm not even sure I watched it till the end, and I don't fully remember what happened exactly. It's like my brain purged most of the plot. I just remember ugly crying when Bim's owner died. My brother had just died from brain cancer. I was taking it pretty hard. My wife decided to try and cheer me up by taking me to a stupid PG movie clearly made for kids. It was middle school, the worst years of my life. Some of you may understand the problem, but for those of you don't, we find out that it's about the main character's brother dying of cancer and him going through the grieving process. Really should have researched that movie before going in. There are answers here that I think are better, but they've already been stated, so I'll say a family, or the Japanese title Yakuza to Kazoku. Where the Japanese government heavily cracked down on Yakuza operations with a series of laws that made ex-members so stigmatized that it was near impossible for them to transition to a lawful lifestyle. Not the saddest, but one that was surprisingly sad was Adam Sandler's Click, collapsing in the rain while calling out to his son, or the scene where he's replaying the last moment he's seen his dad alive, just replaying it over and over. Man, I went into that movie expecting a goofy Sandler movie. Cried like a bitch. Maybe not the saddest, but Dancer in the Dark really shook me. I was like, oh wow, Bjork is in this movie, guys. So we all gathered up at my place and smoked a few joints and watched it, not knowing anything about it. Then we all cried and everyone went home. Miracle in Cell No. 7. A mentally disabled man wrongfully imprisoned for murder, who builds friendships with the hardened criminals in his cell, who in return help him see his daughter again by smuggling her into the prison. Anything with dogs who will die in the end, e.g. Hachiko, Marley and me, etc. I just can't deal with those. I never watch those movies BTW because I know it's going to hunt me for days and weeks. I love dogs so much. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think it's a good movie for anyone that had a complicated life growing up, using the word complicated a bit loosely, but the movie really gets you. I'm abstract ways. Afterson, as someone who has struggled with mental health my whole life and has masked it as hard as I can, the entire movie just cuts like a knife. All he does is his best. All he does is try. Synecdoche, New York. But it's also happy because it reminds me to worrying less and enjoy life. It's a cautionary tale in a way. Being so devastatingly sad is just how it drives the message home. Hachiko dog. It was a Japanese Akita dog remembered for his remarkable loyalty to his owner, Hidesaburo Ueno, for whom he continued to wait for over 9 years following Ueno's death. The Champ circa 1979, starring John Voight, Ricky Schredder, and I forgot who the mom was at this moment. Big-time actress Annette O'Toole. No, you Faye Dunaway. TBH, I've never cried as much as when I watched the movie Black Beauty, when I was a 13-year girl. It's the life story of a horse, and every owner treats it worse than the one before. So sad. The beginning scenes of Up gets me fighting back those man tears every single time. The thought of losing someone you love so much really hurts the happy strings in my heart. I just watched Voices in the Wind original title in Japanese, Hoseno Denwa 2 days ago. This is one of the most beautiful, saddest, touching and hopeful movie I've ever watched. Out of the blue, movie about NZ's first serious active shooter event. Sure, that's nothing next to your average Tuesday in the States, but it hit hard and happened close to home. Not the saddest ever, but at the time, when I was in first grade, Old Yeller wrecked me. We watched it in school, and when he had to shoot that dog I cried for 2 hours straight. La Vita e Bella, SP. Acting was good. Set was good. Great movie all round, but we'll never watch again. ... Even Artax's drowning didn't break my heart that much. Everything everywhere all the time, no kids in their movie. Totally miserable middle-aged and elderly people, and the only younger person is not a mother. Dead. It's uplifting sad rather than depressing sad. At this French movie called Panette, I subbed my way through it. Dead Ringers 1988. God, that movie was so creepy and heartbreaking. I felt empty and just overall sad. After that I swore to never ever eat sad movies. The Deer Hunter, long ago now, but it impacted me so deeply. I remember sobbing seeing these beautiful young men destroyed by war. I never cried to movies, but there is one scene in Interstellar when Cooper was watching his kids' video messages. It was epic. Not a movie, and I have watched The Leaves from the Vine episode in season 2 of ATLA many times, and every time it gets me. I feel like there was a time when I would ask people this question, and everyone would have the same answer: Hachiko. A man named Otto. I don't remember crying so much to any other movie. But I also haven't seen that many movies. Marley Me. Cried my damn eyes out. I can't even think about watching it now, having been through it for real. Ori 2005. True story. Terrible child abuse case. Sweet November. Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Schindler's List. One Day. The Cobbler. A Walk to Remember. 14 Days in May. The story of Edward L. Johnson. Sad because it's a true story and he was innocent. No one knows. Japanese film from the early 2000s about kids abandoned by their mother. Bridge to Terabithia. Starts so innocently and sweet, and then it smashes your heart. Schindler's List and Bows Don't Cry about the real-world murder of Brandon Teena. What dreams may come, especially if you've been personally affected by a suicide. The Mist. Pretty good horror flick until the last scene. Devastatingly brilliant. Precious. I genuinely felt a hole in my stomach when I watched the ending scene. The end of AI breaks my heart. It can be interpreted in a number of ways too. The Whale. Ugly cried like never before. Ossens. Aronofsky is a genius. Any Holocaust-related movies and special mention Grave of the Fireflies. Boy and the Heron. I cried for days for the cute creatures that died. I think Bridge to Terabithia is the most I've ever cried at a movie. I don't usually cry to movies, but I cried on Hachiko, so I'd say that. I'm not really a movie watcher, but it has to be Christmas Oranges. The Bridges of Madison County. I'm just destroyed by the end. Pay it forward. The ending makes me cry. It's kinda fucked. Silent. The saddest movie I've ever watched is Schindler's List. Girl Next Door. Never Again. I can't even handle the case. Dancer in the Dark. The Lars von Trier movie with Björk. First Choice. Schindler's List. Second Midnight Express. For me, Artificial Intelligence ... and ... Ender's Game. The Pianist. My god, that movie is exhausting to watch. A Journey. Literally cried almost half of the movie. Marley Me. The ending just made me too emotional.